Hello friends, welcome to Dreamweaver Crocheting with Love. In today's tutorial, I am going to teach you how to crochet this baby pant. Now this pant I have done for a 12 to 18 month old baby. To start up with this pant, initially we will be making the waistband. Here I have done this waistband using front post and back post double crochet stitches. And in order to give a nice tight pattern for our pant, I have alternately changed colors. Now at the bottom of the legs, for the last 3 to 4 rows, again I have used front post and back post double crochet stitches so that it gives a good grip over the baby's legs. Now in case if the pant seems to be loose on the baby's waist, for that I have worked this cord and passed it through one of the rows of our waistband so that you can just pull it tight and this will hold firmly on the baby's waist. In order to make it more cute, I have just attached pom-poms at the end of the cord. So now let's see how this cute little baby pant is worked out, and also by end of this tutorial I shall explain you how to work this baby pant for the babies in other age groups. So now let's see what are the materials needed to make our little pant. Here I have taken these two colors, bright yellow and grey colored yarn, a 4 mm crochet hook, scissors and a measuring tape. Now as you can see, I have already done with this waistband. In our channel there is a tutorial of how to work a waistband using front post and back post double crochet stitches. So I shall give the link of the same above for your reference. So you just go through it and get to know how this is worked out. So here I shall give you the specifications of this waistband. For this waistband, initially I had chained 100 and then I had joined the first chain with the last chain using a slip stitch. And the first row was worked as a row of double crochets. Now since we had worked 100 chains, so by the end of the first row I had 100 double crochets. And for the next 3 rows, that is from row 2 to row 4, I had worked one front post and one back post double crochets alternately in order to make this waistband. So in total for this waistband, I had worked 4 rows. Now this is a specification for the baby in the age group of 12 to 18 months. So in case if you are working this waistband for the babies in other age groups, as I mentioned earlier, you can just go to the waistband tutorial and work this waistband accordingly as per the age of the child for whom you are doing this pant, and then you can continue with this tutorial. Now for working the first row of our baby pant, just insert the hook into the stitch where we have cut the yarn. We will be joining this yellow colored yarn. The sequence of this round is very simple. Work one chain and work one double crochet per stitch. Now as I mentioned earlier, the number of double crochets for the last row of our waistband is 100. So by end of this first round, we will be having 100 double crochets. And one more important thing is that you should always see to that the number of double crochets that you have for your waistband should be even in number, because when you split up the legs for your baby pant, you can divide the number of double crochets equally for each leg. So just continue working one double crochet per stitch till the end of the round. So here I worked the first row of our baby pant using this yellow colored yarn, and the number of double crochets that I have done is 100. Now we need to slip stitch on top of the first double crochet work, but while slip stitching we will be changing colors since the next row needs to be done using the grey colored yarn. So just drop the yellow colored yarn and join this grey colored yarn. So using the new color, chain 1 and turn your work. And the sequence pattern is the same, that is, we'll be working one double crochet per stitch. So just going through each of the stitches, work one double crochet till you reach the end of the round. So here I have come to the end of the second round. Now while slip stitching will be changing colors. So just drop this grey colored yarn on the inner part of your baby pant and pick up this yellow colored yarn and change the colors while slip stitching. Now for working the third row, work one chain and turn your work, and the sequence pattern is same, that is working one double crochet per stitch. So this is how the pattern repeats. The three most important things that you should remember while working with this pattern is that first, no matter for what age you are doing this baby pant, the number of double crochets should be even in number, and it should remain the same at end of each of the row. The second thing is that after every row is done, we will be changing colors while slip stitching. And the third important thing is that after slip stitch is done, you need to turn your work and continue with the pattern sequence. So now in all, we will be working this pattern sequence for 17 rows. That is working one double crochet per stitch. At the same time, we will be changing colors. 2 rows are already done. So we will be working 15 more rows. So once I am done with 17 rows in total, I shall get back to you. So as I mentioned earlier, I have worked 17 rows for the pant, and now from the 18th row onward, we will provide a partition for the legs. In total, we have 100 double crochets for the last row. Now for each leg, we will be dividing around 50 double crochets. So starting from the first stitch, I have counted about 50 double crochets. So these double crochets will form the first leg, and I have put a stitch marker in order to keep track of the stitch. So the pattern sequence for each leg is the same. Here we will be working one double crochet into next 50 stitches. So for that, again chain one and turn your work, and into each of the stitches work one double crochet for total of 50 double crochets. So I'll be working till the stitch marker. So just continue with this pattern. So for one of the legs, I have worked 50 double crochets, as you can see over here. And after the 50 double crochet is done, we will be slip stitching and changing colors at the same time. So just drop this grey color yarn on the inner part and pick up this yellow colored yarn. And going to the first stitch, work a slip stitch. Now again work one chain and turn your work, and the pattern is same, that is working one double crochet into next 50 stitches. Now after working the second row of the leg, I have slip stitched on top of the first double crochet work and changed colors. So this is how this pattern will repeat. Here after doing the partition of our leg, we have worked 2 rows. Now in total for this leg, we will be working around 15 rows. So 2 rows are already done. So I will be working 13 more rows in the same pattern, that is working one double crochet per stitch for total of 50 stitches. So continue with this pattern for total of 15 rows. As I mentioned, I have worked 15 rows with one double crochet per stitch. So in total I have worked 50 double crochets per row. Now into the 16th row, we will be working reduction stitches so as to narrow down our baby pant. For that, the sequence pattern that we will be following is picking up this yellow colored yarn, chain one and turn your work, and work one double crochet into next 4 stitches. So here I have worked 4 double crochets. Into the next 2 stitches, we will be working a reduction stitch, that is working 2 double crochets together. So in total I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. So in this way I have worked a reduction stitch. So the sequence is very simple, that is working one double crochet into the 4 stitches as I have done over here, and then into the next 2 stitches work a reduction stitch. So just continue working like this till the end of the round. So after working the 16th row with the sequence that I mentioned earlier, the number of double crochets that I have left is 42. Since we had worked reduction stitches, so the number of double crochets have got reduced. Now since we won't be using this yellow colored yarn, so I have cut this yarn, and next 4 to 5 rows we'll be working with this grey colored yarn. Now for working the 17th row, work one chain and turn your work. And the sequence for this round is very simple, that is working one double crochet per stitch. So just continue working like this till the end of the round. So by the end you will be having 42 double crochets. So here I worked the 17th row with the sequence of 1 double crochet per stitch. Now from row 18 till row 21, that is 4 rows in all, we'll be working 1 front post and 1 back post double crochet stitches. So for that, again work 1 chain, and from here on we need not turn our work. So going to the first stitch, work 1 front post double crochet, and into the next stitch work 1 back post double crochet. So this is the pattern sequence for this round, working 1 front post and 1 back post alternately till the end of the round. So here I worked with the 18th row with 1 front post and 1 back post double crochet stitches alternately. Now for the next 3 rows, we'll be following the same sequence. That is, work 1 chain and work 1 front post on top of the front post and 1 back post double crochet on top of the back post. So this would be sequence for the next 3 rows. So just continue working like this. So here after working the 21st row, that is the last row of a front post and back post double crochet, I have slip stitched and cut my yarn. So that finishes one of the legs of a baby pant. In order to work the second leg, we shall remove this stitch marker. Now insert your hook into the stitch where we had put the stitch marker, and now we'll be joining this grey colored yarn since the previous row was done using yellow colored yarn. Now while joining this yarn, leave a little bit of a long tail which will be later on used for sewing the gap between the legs in the pant. So the sequence is chain 1 and work 1 double crochet per stitch. Now for this leg we have 50 double crochets. So by the end of this round we'll be having 50 double crochets. And we will be moving in this manner since the previous row was worked in this way. So here I worked the first row of our baby leg, and at the end we have 50 double crochets. Now before slip stitching, we have to put this extra yarn that we had left initially on the inner part. And while slip stitching we'll be changing colors. So drop this grey colored yarn and picking up this yellow colored yarn, move to the first stitch and work a slip stitch using this new color. Now again the sequence is same, that is chain 1, turn your work and work 1 double crochet per stitch. As we had worked the rows for the first leg, we will be working in similar manner for the second leg for a total of 21 rows. You can just go back the video and work the second leg in a similar way as the first leg is worked out. So here I have done the second leg in a similar manner as the first leg was worked out. Now we will be working on the small gap that is there between the legs, as you can see over here. So initially while working the second leg, I had left a little bit of yarn which will be used to sew this gap between the legs. So going to the inner part of our baby pant, I have already put the yarn into the needle. Now just going to this gap, moving to the stitches on both the sides. Just sew through this gap. So here this gap is well hidden. You can see it is sewed on the inner part. Now we will just tie the knots and cut the yarn. We are almost come to the end of our baby pant. Now the next and final task would be to work a cord and pom-poms and move the cord to the waistband. Now here I have already worked this cord as well as pom-poms. In our channel there is a tutorial regarding how to work this cord as well as how to make this pom-pom. So I shall give the link of both the videos above for your reference. Just go to that and work the cord and pom-pom accordingly. Now this cord approximately measures about 29 to 30 inches. I'll teach you how to move this cord along the waistband. So here I have put a stitch marker which exactly marks the partition of our legs. So I'll insert my cord on this side and then move it along the waist till I reach this portion. So moving to the third row of the waistband, we'll just pull this cord in this manner. And we'll be moving beneath all the front post double crochets that we have worked till we reach this portion. So just continue working like this. So here I have moved the cord along the waistband and also attached the pom-poms at the end of the cord. In our channel there is a tutorial of how to attach the pom-pom to the cord. So I shall share the link of the same above for your reference. So that finishes our baby pant. Now let's see the size chart. As we have done this pant for a 12 to 18 month old baby. Now as per the size chart, the waist circumference, by waist circumference I mean the measurement of this part should be approximately 20 to 21 inches. And then waist to crotch length, that is from here till here, it should measure approximately 7 inches to 8 inches. So this portion, and from the crotch to the ankle, that is from the midpoint where we had separated our legs to the end portion of our leg, it should measure approximately 8 to 10 inches. And waist to ankle, that is the length from the top portion of our baby pant till the end, that is the full length of our baby pant, should measure approximately from 15 inches to 18 inches. As I mentioned, you can customize this baby pant for babies in any other age groups. That is, after working the waistband, you can just go through this size chart. Depending upon the age of the baby, you can work the number of rows needed in accordance with the length mentioned in the size chart. So that's all for today's tutorial. I hope you found this tutorial really very useful and interesting too. In case of any queries, please let me know through comments. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.